I feel good, na 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 na. Doesn't matter how old I am. How old are you? How old do you feel? And I always ask this question, what about sexy at 60, sensational at 70, awesome at 80, never give up at 90, happy and healthy at 100 plus? And I ask those questions because I'm in that age group. What about terrific at 20? And what about fabulous at 40? And what about I look amazing and the best I've ever looked at whatever age you're at? How do we do that? And do we have to get old? Do we have to get weak and frail? Do we have to have a body that doesn't look good? And I think they're really important questions for two reasons. One is there's a lot of people that are angry and anxious and depressed about the way they look regardless of their age. And it seems that we are bombarded with information about you're going to get old, so you're going to get fat, or you're going to get sick, or you're going to get diseased, or you're going to get wrinkles, or you're going to look terrible, versus could we get better as we get older? And for me, that's really exciting because apart from the fact that I'm old, I always thought that as I got older, I would feel old. Well, I certainly don't feel any older than when I was 20, but I'm certainly more wise and more experienced and more knowledgeable simply because I'm learning every day. But I also know that I don't know very much, and that's a really fun thing to be able to say. All that learning and education and training has taught me is that I don't know very much and I need to keep learning. And one of the things I'm learning about is how we age and why we don't have to age. And the longevity experts are sharing with us that we could be living now until 150, 160 because we've got people now who have looked after themselves all of their lives. And they're now getting into my age category where, well, okay, if there's already people living to 120, what if we could live to 130, 140? And yes, they're the extremes. There are very few people who live over 100. There are very few people who live over 100 with great quality of life. But there are people. And one of the interesting things about that is this thing about attitude and your age attitude. So we talk about chronological age, we talk about your physical age or your metabolic age, but what about your attitude age? Is it possible that there are people who, as they get older, they get an old attitude? I'm old, so I've got to slow down. I'm old, so I've got to stop playing my sport. I'm old, so I stop dancing. I'm old, so I stop making love to my partner. Why? There are some young people with old attitudes. They've become lazy and undisciplined and can't be bothered and tired and lethargic, and they're young. So could our attitude have it? We should put an age on it. And the age that I love the most and the age that I get excited about being every day is a child. And the younger the better, because the more mature chronologically we get, unfortunately, the more stuff is put into our brain about what we can't do and what we have to do and what we should be doing. And we get old and we stop believing in ourselves and we stop dreaming and we stop setting goals because people say you've got to be realistic. When a little kid says, I want to be a rock star, we say, oh, that's cute, that's awesome. But if a 25-year-old who can't sing says, I want to be a rock star, we go, well, that's not possible for you. You can't do that. And I always use that as an example because are there rock stars who can't sing? Yes. Do we still go to their concerts and spend lots of money to watch them passionately share their passion with us? Yes. So why do we tell people that they can't? Is that an attitude? Is that an age attitude? We don't tell little kids that are learning to walk that they can't walk because they've given it a couple of goes and they didn't do it the first time. We don't do that. So that's an age attitude. When a child can't do something, we encourage them to keep having a go. But when an adult can't do something, what do we say? Oh, you can't, you better give up, you better stop. And ultimately, the worst one is that we tell ourselves that. I can't do it, so I've got to stop. So what if we just stayed young, physically, mentally, even emotionally? If you hurt yourself, you cry, you get up, you get going. It seems that as we get older, if we hurt ourselves, we go back to our childhood. What happened to me in my childhood that some terrible things happened and it's now affecting my future? I say that with a little bit of probably sarcasm, because we can't change what happened in the past, can we? We can only decide what our future's going to be like, and it could be dependent on our past, I get that. But what if we decided that I can't change what happened, I'm just going to learn from it, grow from it, get better because of it, and regardless of how old I am chronologically, I'm going to live as a happy young child. I'm going to play every day, I'm going to laugh every day, I'm going to dream big, I'm going to keep learning. we teach little kids things all the time. We teach them to tie their shoelaces, and we teach them to draw, and we teach them to use a knife and fork. We teach them to brush their teeth. We teach them how to bathe. We teach them all sorts of things. And then it seems that as we get older, we just stop learning. I think that's really sad, apart from the fact that if you stop learning, your brain's going to rot away. And Alzheimer's and dementia are considered old people's diseases. Two things: we've got lots of people now who are getting those diseases much younger. And the second thing is, why do we get those diseases? And I share this very openly and sadly for me, is my father died of Alzheimer's, but I don't believe he needed to die so young. And he was 86 when he died, and people say, oh, of course he died because he's 86. But my father, his brain was active and strong and powerful and imaginative and creative. He could sing, he could speak 7 languages, he knew the Bible verbatim, he could quote the Bible. He was a really smart guy. But somebody diagnosed him as being old, somebody diagnosed him as having a disease, and unfortunately he believed them, and then his body rotted away. What if we just don't believe it? And I asked that question on purpose. If you didn't know how old you were, how old would you be? And physically, in fact, I'm fitter and stronger and healthier than I was at 20, and mentally healthier, because at 20 I was trying to impress other people, and I was trying to do what other people wanted me to do, and I was trying to find a place in the world. Well, as you get older and you learn that, hey, this is who I am, and I've decided this is who I'm going to be, and I'm proud of who I am, and I don't care what other people think, is it possible that life becomes better and better? And shouldn't it? As we get older, because we're wiser and stronger and tougher and more mature and we've had more experience, shouldn't our life get better? Why should it get worse? And obviously, because I'm studying longevity, I'm investing time with people who are over 100. I've been to Sardinia, which is one of the blue zones in the world where the most people over 100 live. They live with passion, they live with energy, they still run a business, they still play their sport, they still make love to their partner. I love saying all of that because they're people over 100 who are still living with great quality of life. And that's one of those negative things I often hear from people. They say, oh, I don't want to get old, because when you're old, you've got to be weak and frail and you can't do all the things that you want to do. Well, is that true? Does it have to be true? There are people who are living that just doesn't have to happen. I just recently watched a great video of a guy that's 116, and he's still living his life he's still living at home, still driving a car, and he's really interesting. He still smokes cigars. He's still, and one would say he doesn't eat healthy food. He's not particularly active. He just has a life that he loves. And could that be that age attitude coming in? Is it possible that people who feel guilty about smoking or guilty about drinking or guilty about eating food end up dying early, because guilt's a really horrible emotion that ages you really quickly? Stress and guilt and bad attitude will age you very fast. If you use your stress to get puffed and to lift heavy and to punch and to kick and to keep playing your sport, then stress becomes something that keeps you young for long. So why do we get old? Could we choose to stay young? If you didn't know how old you were, how old would you be? And what about, I'll share it again, and I'll start with my age. Sexy at 60, sensational at 70, awesome at 80, never give up at 90, happy and healthy at 100 plus. Could that be a choice? Now, it's not going to fall out of the sky in a pretty pink box, obviously. You're going to have to look after yourself. You're going to have to stay fit, stay strong, stay mentally tough. But why would you want to rot away? That's my question. Why would you want to? So if you want to live your life to the max, why not live the longest life to the max? Why not live every single day, enjoying every single day? And we don't know how many days we're going to get. We might not get to be old. There are a lot of people who don't even know what it's like to rot away because they've gotten old, because they've died when they're young. So wherever age you are now, how about enjoy every day, live your life to the max. Thank you for coming to Romax, because I'm passionate and I've just got this commitment every day that I want everybody to live with passion and enthusiasm and excitement for life. And I might not be able to change the world, but if I can make a difference to one person day to day, that you don't say to yourself, I have to get old, I have to get weak, I have to get frail. I can stay young and fit and healthy and strong for long. Is it possible that if you look after your body will look after you? So live your life to the max, hey? So that every day can be super duper doo. How are you? I know I am amazing, even if I'm 120. Woohoo!